One of the most common claims Muslims make is that Islam teaches free will. But when you actually read the Quran and the Sahih Hadith together, a very different picture emerges. Today, I want to show using Islam's own sources that Islamic theology does not merely limit free will, it undermines it entirely through divine predestination, known as Qadar. Before we move on, we need to understand what free will is. Well, in layman terms, free will means that a person is the true originator of their choices and the choices they make. They could have chosen otherwise. One of the most important requirements free will needs is the ability to choose otherwise. Without free will, moral responsibility doesn't hold any ground. Moral responsibility only makes sense if choices are genuinely free. So here's the central question for this video. If Allah decrees, wills, and creates every action, can humans truly be free? Why do I say that Islam doesn't have free will? Well, in short, because of predestination. What is predestination? Predestination is just a theological doctrine that believes God predetermines or writes before the foreknowledge of every individual, writes every actions, every deeds, and whether or not each individual ends up in hell or heaven, which means the deeds, the works, the acts of every individual has already been written beforehand by God. And that's the theology called predestination. Predestination and free will don't go hand in hand, and that's why this is a problem. If Islam claims without free will, then predestination shouldn't exist. If predestination exists, free will doesn't exist. These two concepts don't go hand in hand because they negate each other. Here's where Islam becomes very explicit. Predestination before birth. We can read in the Hadith that the Prophet Muhammad taught that a person's destiny, including their final place in paradise or in hell, is decided before they are even born. We can read in Sahih Al-Bukhari 3208 or in Sahih Muslim 2643. Each one of you is gathered in his mother's womb for 40 days. Then an angel is sent and writes 4 things: his provision, his lifespan, his deeds, and whether he will be miserable or happy. Notice what is written before birth: deeds, destiny, and eternal outcome. This is no longer foreknowledge alone. This is a pre-assigned destiny. Why is this important? The common Muslim rebuttal to this is, what Allah have is just foreknowledge and not predestination. But if someone's dates, destiny, and eternal outcome have already been written beforehand, then it's more than foreknowledge and now a pre-assigned destiny. We can also read in these hadiths, the childbearing hadith. This is a narration by Aisha. It said, a child from the answer died, and I said, light tidings for him, for he is a bird among birds in paradise. The messenger of Allah said, do not say that, for Allah created for paradise those who he fits for it, while they were still in their father's loins, and he created for hell those who he fits for it, while they are still in their father's loins. We can read this in Sahih Muslim 2662. Let this sink in. According to Muhammad, people are created for paradise or hell before they live, before they choose, before they act. That alone destroys any meaningful definition of free will in Islam. One has pre-assigned destiny in Islam. One no longer have choices. Choices have been made for one individual according to Islam. We can also go even further in Islam and read through the Quran. We can read in Quran 37 verse 96 that Allah created you and what you do. We can also read in Sahih Muslim 2653. Why is this important? Because it goes hand in hand. It says Allah wrote the decrees of creation 50,000 years before he created the heavens and the earth, which means Everything about creation has been written beforehand by Allah. So Allah does not merely know what you will do, He writes it, wills it, and creates it. If we should look further into this, we tend to find out that Islam theology, or Islamic theology rather, teaches that Allah wills belief and disbelief, which means if a particular individual believes in God or disbelieves in God, it's not as a result of his action, but according to Allah. If we read in Quran 16, ayah 93, it says, "Had Allah willed, He could have easily made you one community, but He leaves to stray who He wills and guides whoever He wills. And you will certainly be questioned about what you used to do." Whoever Allah wills, He guides. Whoever He wills, He leads astray, according to Quran 16:93. That's the common idea from this verse. You can also read in Quran 76, ayah 30. "You do not will unless Allah wills. But you cannot will unless Allah wills. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-wise." In Islam belief itself, it is not freely chosen. It is granted or withheld by Allah. One no longer have full control over his or her opinion. Allah grants belief and grants disbelief, which causes a moral problem. Let's lay this out logically. If Islam teaches Allah decrees the act, Allah creates the act, Allah withholds guidance, Allah seals acts, and Allah punishes internally, how is it just to punish someone for disbelief that Allah Himself decreed? If Allah is the one creating the acts, causing belief and also disbelief, leading astray who He wants to, guiding who He wants to, why should those who have been led astray by Allah be punished for what they didn't do? This poses a moral problem. Is Allah actually a just God? We can't go ahead with this video without looking at the biblical view about this. According to the Bible, we read in James 1:13, God cannot be tempted by evil, but does He tempt anyone. We can also read in Deuteronomy 30:19, I have set before you life and death, therefore choose life. According to the biblical view, God offers options without determining outcome. But according to the Islamic view, God creates human actions. There's a very clear distinction between the Islamic view on this and the biblical view on this. Even right from the creation story, we read that God gives man free will. That's why man were able to pick whether to be with God or not, right from the time of Adam and Eve. So what is the final conclusion to this? Well, Islam affirms responsibility but denies freedom. It teaches that Allah creates disbelief, seals hearts, decrees destiny, and punishes internally. That is not free will at all. It is theological fatalism. Responsibility without freedom is incoherence. A just God must allow real choices. And because Allah and Islamic theology itself believe in predestination, it means Islam does not believe in free will. Well, if you find this video helpful, please do well to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon to get notified anytime I release a new video.